trying to go live, but the audio, which should be here, it's not picking up. I think it's because I need to update OBS Studio. I did get a prompt earlier. So yeah, the audio isn't working. I wanted to show some documents that I had lined up, ready to go. Some headlines, some news stories. Do a quick 10-15 minute chat before I've got to pop back to work. But unfortunately, it's not really readable. It's better on the bigger screen. It's better on the laptop screen. I mean, I'm having to do this like that, but that's what I could do. Really, could need one of those selfie camera stick thingy. What the young folks have. I think I need one of those. But anyway, what we're going over? We were going over a couple of headlines, right? This is one of my favorite resources, news outlets, news resources to check out. This is globalresearch.ca. I don't know if you can see that. Globalresearch.ca. Yeah, fantastic research. Ignore the torrent. We've all got a bit of pirate in us, haven't we? Ignore the torrent. And let's go through a couple of the headlines that they've got on here. So it says artificial intelligence in support of Israel intelligence, the planning of genocide, what will Gaza look like in the future, on the precipice, humanity's dystopian crossroads. That looks like an interesting article. I've not read any of these articles today, but I'm just showing you that this particular website has it just has a massive amount of articles, news articles, and the well-resourced stuff, well-resourced, well-read, from lawyers, doctors, journalists, all parts of life, and they contribute to this website. An amazing website, one of my favorite websites to go to, always has been for a number of years. Globalresearch.ca. Check that one out, folks. So looking at revisionist history. Not too sure on this website actually, but it's one I have to check through. Anyway, let's go through to the Guardian, theguardian.com, which is the UK side, and it says Tommy Robinson bailed after arrest on suspicion of grievous bodily harm. So apparently, there's footage emerging of Tommy Robinson at the airport, and all the camera pans to was Tommy Robinson walking down a flight of stairs and a guy who's sparked out on the floor, and it's given the impression that actually, from what Tommy said, that he hit me first, or he came at me first, or something to that effect, that he might have knocked the guy out unconscious and walked off. So let's have a quick couple of read of this. Obviously, you know, he's in the Tommy Robinson. Stephen Yaxley, is it Yaxley? Yenin or Lennon, I think is his name is. They normally put his name in here. The far-right activist known as Tommy Robinson, known as AKA Tommy Robinson, has been released on bail by police after being arrested in suspicion of grievous bodily harm. Robinson, 42, was detailed on Monday. Why are they not using his real name? Was detailed on Monday evening at Luton Airport after a man was allegedly assaulted at London railway station. So okay, I was under the impression, along with many others, that he actually, after the suspicion of assaulting the guy, he actually took flight, but it looked like he was arrested at the airport itself before he actually went and boarded the plane. So yeah, it's good if he actually did assault somebody and you know, knock that guy out unconscious. He should face the consequence for it, shouldn't he? Really. But I mean, they've got cameras everywhere in airports, so I suppose the truth will indeed come out. Oh, speaking of his name, it says Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, was arrested after arriving at Luton Airport on a flight from Faro, Portugal. Okay, so he's on his way back from Portugal at the airport, and that's when they arrested him after the alleged incident. Police were called at around 8:40 p.m. to report of an assault. The man alleged to have been assaulted, aged 64. I mean, that's an old guy. Had serious injuries, police said, and needed hospital treatment. So it looks like old Tommy, he's been bailed, by the way. And obviously they'll be checking out the cameras from the airport to see exactly what's occurred. But he's been bailed. He's currently on bail at the moment. I mean, he's just got back from Portugal from overseas, so I doubt he'll be going away anytime soon. Anyway, top ten Guardian um, reports currently. It's a British teenager boards wrong flight at Menorca airport and ends up in Italy. Number two, Trump attacks seriously woke Jaguar Land Rover as company names a new CEO. Obviously, their sales are like absolutely tanking. Jaguar Land Rover, not the old Jaguar of old. I suppose I can't say reliability because they've never really had great reliability, have they? Jaguar. I couldn't get innocent on The Office and becoming a Hollywood superstar at 55. Support for hardline anti-immigration policies linked to ignorance about migration figures. Polls suggest UK politics live. Now, this is an interesting one about the migration figures because all over the TV and the radio, they'll gaslight you and me, the people, saying that, oh, they have doctors and nurses and they're coming in because nobody wants to be a doctor or nurse in this country and we've got to get them in, and they're all on about £30 an hour. But anyway, going back to the gaslighting, what are they gaslighting us, the public, who are on the ground, and the talking heads who are employed by the state, and they'll do anything to keep their job, they'll do anything to keep their position, to keep their wage coming in. They will lie to you, gaslight you, obfuscate the truth. What are they gaslighting us about? Well, they're telling us that it's doctors and lawyers who are coming on these boats. But we know differently, don't we? Because there's a lot of people out there who call themselves auditors, and there's some good channels out there who call themselves auditors who are going around to these migrant hotels and places where they've got the migrants, they being the government, are keeping the migrants, right? And they're finding out that a lot of these migrants, I'm talking about 90+% of these migrants, are young men. They're young men under 30. A lot of them. This hotel full with just young men. They ain't all doctors and nurses. And what's interesting about some of these auditors is they'll visit these hotels, and sometimes they'll interact with the hotel guests who are the migrants and ask them, when did you come here? How did you come here? Was it on a boat? Was it on a flight? And you'll see, and some of them will admit in camera, yeah, I paid £3,000 to come here. Yeah, I was part of the Syrian army. I've seen stuff like that. Yeah, I was in the Iraqi army, and I was told to come here. So they're gaslighting people, telling people, trying to plant that idea in people's head that you're a racist if you question anything. Now, I'm not a racist. Me being a, in quotation marks, a black man, I'm uniquely, I think, qualified to ask this question and to take a view about this. And to take a view about this. Everybody should have a view about it, but when you're talking about race, I can say that it's not a race issue. It's it's an issue that they're using these migrants, flooding areas in the country in England with all over the place, but flooding these migrants in the country around urban areas, around certain people, around certain communities. They're flooding these migrants and they're rubbing our noses in it by giving them 3, 4 course meals, free everything, free tuition, free karate lessons. We've seen that from the auditors who go into the hotels, free karate lessons, free dance lessons. Everything that they want is free, yet the working people, the people who are actually working, who are actually providing, trying to provide for the family, are getting screwed over with inflation, higher taxes, and literally everything going up. Your council tax, your utilities bills, and your wages stay the same because of inflation. So yeah, the people on the TV are talking heads. The people on the TV are put there to keep you in a docile state and to make you think that, you know, you, your eyes are lying to you, your brain's lying to you, and they're the only ones who can tell you the truth that these guys are packing out these hotels. These young men, military age men, are packing out the hotels. These are all doctors and nurses, and they're here to save you, right? When we know it's the opposite. Now, I'm not one of these auditors who's going to scream at you, oh, we pay our taxes. Against all taxation. Taxation is theft. Taxation is theft without representation. They don't represent me. I want no part of this so-called system that they're in. I want my money. I don't want to be taxed. I want to keep all my money. They're keeping around about 45% of my wages from me, and it's been stolen. Now, if they're keeping 45% of my wages from me and stealing my wages from me per week, doesn't that entitle me to our free stuff? Which begs the question, if we're being taxed, where exactly are these taxes going? And it's a shame that the laptop's not working, because I've got a couple of great videos on my phone, actually, um, which one of them states from a podcast. I forgot the name of the podcast. I would like to give it credit, but I forgot the name of the podcast. I might have uploaded it to my YouTube, actually, where they're saying that the HMRC, the tax revenue people, they're on course for year 2024, 2020, no, year 2025 to 2026, they're on course to make £1 trillion in taxes, and that's taxation from everybody and everything, right? They're on course to make £1 trillion in taxes. Now, that's a lot of money, folks, right? £1 trillion they're taxing, but it begs the question, they're not reinvesting these taxation into anything else, right? They're taking money, 45% of my wage, and everybody else's wage who's working, and even more from some people, high earners, etc. They're taking so much money from folks, it begs the question, right? I'll put the camera back on me. It begs the question. They're on course to make £1 trillion in taxation. Where's the money? Your council tax has gone up. Your utilities bills have gone up. Your gas, your water, your electric, those all gone up. Your mortgage has gone up. Your rent's gone up. Your council tax has gone up. Meanwhile, all at the same time, your services have gone down. Your council services have gone down. Your bank collection, they're not fixing the infrastructure. Roads are rotting. Everything's falling apart. There's no new development. There's no new houses being built. There's no new shops. The high street's gone down. A lot more people are losing jobs. So they're taxing more than ever. Right? Where's the money? That's the question. Where's the money? I did a podcast on my podcast feed on Apple, The Amari Smith Show. That's what it's called, The Amari Smith Show. And I forgot which episode it was. I've done about 20 of those. And I think I revealed on there where the money was going, and they're hoarding it. And we know it's sort of fake money and everything, but it's a system that you're in, right? So we've got to run with it for a bit, right? They're hoarding it in offshore accounts in Jersey. That's where the money is. They're hoarding it, right? So instead they could give it back to the people, right? They're screwing us over and then hoarding all the money. And then you've got the idiots, so-called idiots. They're not idiots. They know exactly what they're doing in Parliament and in so-called governmentality. You got those people there saying there's a £22 billion black hole. Oh, we gotta tax tax the pensioners. We gotta take away their fuel and the winter fuel and winter money. Oh, we gotta means test them, right? Or was HMRC and the tax people have record taxes, record money, but then They come and steal it all away. They come and steal it all away from you, and then they say there's a 22 billion pound black hole. Right? They're literally. I mean, the government is a corporation. I won't go into that today. Won't go into that. But the government is a corporation. It's for profit. Everything else in that legal system is a corporation. That means the government. That means the politicians. They're all corporate people, right? And nothing to do with your living man and woman. And that's not to go into like a straw man mentality or a straw man thing, but that's what it is. You got a legal system and you got a lawful system. I abide by the lawful system, not the legal system. Legal system, lawful system, common law system, right? So go back to my original question. Where's the money? That's homework for you guys to do. Record profits, they're projecting record profits of £1 trillion. Meanwhile, everything else around us goes up, shoots up in terms of utilities and food and inflation and taxes. Everything goes up. They're clearing all the money, right? Where's that money that they're grabbing from us? Where's that gone? That's your homework, folks. You do that, and I will do a video podcast on it because I've still got the paperwork somewhere in my files. It shows you exactly what they're doing with it. They're storing it and they're keeping it all away from you, and they pay these people like Susanna Reid and all these so-called economic people on TV, quote unquote economics people on TV. They're the Office of National. They pay them to gaslight you and to keep you docile and to keep you stupid. They think you're an idiot. And to keep that system up and keep it going. And they're there to collect their money and still keep that veil over your eyes and stop you looking under the veil or behind the curtain. Where's the money? That's the homework. Right, I've got to get back to work. I will be doing another podcast soon. Let's hope sooner than never. Sooner the better. Bit tired, but I've got another 2.5 hours at work to do, so I'm going to crack on with that now. Peace out.